So one thing I will say that's really important is, when you buy any of these wallets, it's really important to take it home, set it up right away, and get 25 bucks onto the wallet. Get 25 bucks onto it and take 25 bucks off of it. That so many people buy these things, they get excited about them, they put them in a drawer, and they never set them up because it is an intimidating process. There is a lot to learn and figure out, and you don't want to make a mistake. But what we tell everybody is when you buy a hardware wallet, take it home and set it up right away. Don't put all your Bitcoin on it yet, but put 25 bucks on and take 25 bucks off and just try it with a nominal amount. That'll get you comfortable, it'll get your feet wet, then you'll understand it and you'll feel a little bit better about actually, taking your Bitcoin and putting it into cold storage on one of these devices. The worst thing you can do is take action and buy one of these devices and just leave it in a drawer somewhere. And unfortunately, it is a little bit intimidating. So sometimes people do that, and we recommend just set it up, put 25 bucks on, take 25 bucks off, and just to get your feet wet. And do it right away, right when you buy the device, because otherwise, you could have some trouble. So
Perfect. Now, are we able to use the tap signer in conjunction with this device?
Yeah, we could.
The reason I ask is because I would like to show people how to set that up. And I figured that if we can go through this process, then once we get Sparrow Wallet downloaded and installed, when we're waiting for the Bitcoin to send to the wallet, the first transaction, we can go and then activate that.
Totally. We can do that. We'll need to do it on a phone as opposed to a computer because only a phone will have the NFC read. So the tap signer only works with phones or with a computer that has an NFC reader, an external NFC reader. Most computers, unfortunately, don't have NFC. So we'll just need to do it on a phone, and we can do it using Nunchuck software on a phone. Do you have a phone that we could use?
Right here.
Okay, cool. Let's use that one.
Okay. And what is the app you want me to install?
Nunchuck. So go ahead and download Nunchuck. Nunchuck is a great piece of software that works with all the Coldcard products. It works with the Tap products. It works with a whole suite of products. It's in the same category as Sparrow in terms of functionality. It's a client product, and it's also really helpful with multi-sig.
Yes. Can you teach us about multi-sig?
Yeah, totally. So multi-sig is the idea of, right now, if you've got your Coldcard, your Seed Signer, your Jade, all of that stuff, you have what's called single sig. So what that means is that when you want to send out your Bitcoin, you need one signature to do that, right? Your desktop software builds the transaction, transmits it to your signing device. That single signature happens, and then the finished transaction, it's finished because there's one signature, gets sent back to the desktop, and that's it. And that's single sig, or sometimes called one of one, okay? Because there's one available signature, and you need one to complete the transaction. Multi-sig is the idea of taking the security to the next level and saying, okay, I have a joint account with somebody, or I want to geographically distribute my cold cards. And instead of having a one of one, I may want to have a two of two, where I have two signing devices, and I need both of them to agree to this transaction. And so now, your desktop software is going to build the transaction exactly the same way. And then it's going to say, okay, send this to one of the devices. It finishes it and sends it. It's still partial when it comes back. It's actually not a finished transaction. It's only finished its part. And then it'll say, okay, I'm ready for the next signature. And then you'll do the same thing with another device. And so you'll roll through this process. You'll go through this process multiple times with each of your signing devices. Now, with multi-sig, what's super cool is that it doesn't necessarily have to be, two of two or three of three or four of four. First of all, the number of signatures, I don't believe there's a limit. So you could have 20. You could have 20 cold cards spread out across the world. And you can say, but I only need 10 of them to agree to do this transaction, which is super cool because now, you can say I need a 10 of 20 multi-sig, or I need a 2 of 3 or a 2 of 4. And so you can have a little bit of forgiveness baked in, because let's say one of your locations you lose access to, you give it to a friend, you're not friends with them anymore, and you lose access. So in that way, you can set up some pretty cool setups, like a 5 of 8 setup, and you can give seed phrases or cold cards to 8 different people. They all have the secret with them, and you need any 5 to come together to actually access the funds. And so multi-signature allows you to geographically distribute your keys and also bake in a bit of forgiveness, because it's any 5 of 8. If you do the 5 of 8 example, it can be any 5. And so it's multi-signature is extremely powerful. It's also pretty complicated. And so far, you know, people have tried to make it easy, and the Nunchuck software we'll go through in a minute here tries to make it easy, but it's still not the easiest. It's not as easy as it could be. And with more steps, with more signatures, introduces more, you know, more potential errors. Right. And so, you know, multi-signature is something that's growing. It's incredibly powerful. It's very much appropriate for large sums of money or life-changing amounts of money. It's worth doing the research and checking it out. But if you're just getting started in Bitcoin, you know, and you have small amounts of money relative to what's small for you, just a single signature is enough. But I'm happy to, you know, we'll get the queue set up. We'll get the tap signer set up, and we'll do a 2 of 2 multi-sig using Nunchuck Wallet.
Whoa,
and so if you want to download Nunchuck on your phone.
Nunchuck's downloaded.
Okay, great. So that's the Coldcard queue. Let's open up Nunchuck first, actually.
Go.
We might need to go vertical, actually. I don't think it's horizontal.
Do it. All right.
Okay, so Nunchuck software has varying degrees of privacy and security. So we're just going to continue as a guest for now because we want to remain anonymous. So it says, welcome to Nunchuck. We need to add a key. So Nunchuck's going to help you manage your keys and manage your wallets, okay? And so if you want, you can add a hot wallet, which means the key is going to exist on this device, all right? But for a high security setup, we don't want any keys on the device, okay? So we're going to hit add a key.
What?
And the first thing it's going to ask is we want to add an NFC key. So let's actually, why don't we start with the NFC keys? That's super easy. So this is the tap signer. It comes in an NFC sleeve. This one has been branded nicely with the mempool logo. It has no effect on the actual hardware that's inside it. On the back, you'll find some pertinent information. This product's also made by Coinkite. The tap signer is a super cool device. It just looks like a card or a room key or something like that, but actually it's an entire computer on board. And when you tap on the phone, your phone is going to wirelessly charge that computer for a moment. It's going to transmit information to the tap signer. The tap signer is going to compute some information and transmit a result back. And that's why they call it a tap signer, because it does everything the other hard wallets do all in a tap, and it happens instantly. And so the tap signer is a very powerful device. It's not just a plastic card. I know it looks like a plastic card, but there's actually a lot more to it. And so inside our Nunchuck wallet, we're going to say we want to add an NFC key. Where the tap signer really excels is for people that are non-technical. Like, let's say you had a board of directors and you wanted them to control a bunch of funds, but they're not technical. They're not going to be technical. You know, they can all have their tap signers, and if they approve, they can tap and sign, and that's sort of their yes vote to release the funds. And so it's a really sort of, you know, there's no screen, which is a disadvantage. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it's a really easy way to have a signing device and an action that's sort of easy to use. There's no buttons, there's no controls, there's no battery, there's no power, there's no nothing. It's just a tap and go. And so it's a really great form factor. It's really important to keep the tap signer in its NFC cover to make sure it's not tapped inappropriately or inadvertently. We want to make sure that no one's tapping without your permission, so you want to keep it inside the sleeve that it comes with, or any sleeve. But so inside our Nunchuck wallet, let's add an NFC key. And so we'll hit add a key, and we have a few different options here. We can add a cold card, we can add a tap signer, we can add a portal. So I hit portal by accident. Let's go back in. We're going to hit there, and we're going to hit add a tap signer. And so it's going to say on the next screen, place and hold near your NFC chip, and make sure you hold until the app shows a success notification. So we're going to do a pairing. There's going to be a little back and forth here, and so it's more than just a quick tap up front. So we're going to hit continue, and we'll hold it here. This NFC tag has not been initialized. Do you want to initialize it now? We're going to hit yes. Okay. Set up the chain code. So we're going to let it generate the chain code. A chain code is a 32-bit of entropy used for the device, so we'll just let it do this for it. We'll continue. Now, along with the tap, there's also a pin, okay? So when you tap, you also have to enter your pin. So all of these devices have what's called a starting pin code, okay?
Is that information private? Should I cover that up when I play this video?
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. And so because the starting pin code is just the initial one, we're going to set a new one, and then it's not public. This is just local to the card. So they'd have to have this card in their possession to be any trouble. So I'm going to go, the starting pin code is on the back of the code. I'm going to go 923703. And I'm gonna be a bad boy, and I'm gonna do the exact same code. Let's see. I'm curious if it'll actually let me. It might not. And I'm gonna hit. This pin is a necessary security feature that prevents unauthorized access. Please back it up and keep it safe. Okay. So we're gonna hit continue. On your next screen, you're going to activate it. This could take a few seconds. So what's gonna happen now is it's in the first tap. It took some information off the tap signer. It's now preparing some new information to load onto the tap signer, and we're gonna click got it. Now we're going to place tap signer here. Command in progress. They're now communicating to each other. Done. So now the tap signer has been reprogrammed with some new entropy that was created, like dice rolls, and it's been programmed with our new pin, which unfortunately we were not good people, and we use the same starting pin code. Do not do this at home, but just for the purpose of this demo. Now the other thing you're going to want to do is back up your tap signer, because what if you lose the tap signer? Okay, so you're going to back it up. That backup is encoded with the pin. Okay, so you're going to back this up somewhere on your computer, on your email, somewhere. You need to back this file up, and this is essentially like writing down the 12-word seed, except it's an encrypted copy with the pin. So if somebody gets it, they can't do anything because they need the pin code. Okay, so we're going to take this back up, and we're just going to save it to your files. We'll just save it right here. Perfect. So the NFC key has been activated, the pin has been changed, and now we're going to hit continue. Now we're going to name this key, and we're going to call it tap signer. In reality, you might want to call it cottage tap signer, because you store it at your cottage. Whatever, you want to give it a useful name so you know what it's called. Perfect, there we go. So now this key has been added to here, and essentially the XPub has been stored in here. Okay, so the 12-word seed is baked into here. The XPub is on this, and we're in good shape. And so now we're back at our home screen here. We have our keys. We have one key from the tap signer. Now we wanted to add another key from the Coinkite the Coldcard queue. So this is very exciting. So let's open up our Coldcard queue.
I guess I can do that there now.
We're going to open up the device, and just like the MK4, the Coldcard queue is going to come with a security bag. Comes with a few stickers. Comes with a place to write down your 12 or 24-word seed, and it's in a tamper-evident bag. So you can see that the bag is sealed. I'm going to inspect the bag. It doesn't look like it's been tampered with, so I'm happy. Very happy. Okay, so I'm just going to use a pen here and kind of rip open the bag. As you can see, it's actually not very easy to rip open, which is a good thing. It becomes obvious if someone has ripped it open. Okay, and here's the Coldcard queue, and you can see, it's beautiful device. Certainly resembles an older smartphone with a full keyboard. Again, it's transparent, so I can see all the chips and everything on board. So if I wanted to do a pre-inspection, now would be the time to take a look and make sure there's no extra chips anywhere else here. As always, we've got our shoot here. So you're going to shoot this and shoot that. Those are the two things you're either going to shoot or drill using a drill, whatever you like. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take out this the battery pack. I just need 3 of those. Thank you. Pop the case back on. And we're going to turn on our Coldcard queue. Again, you've got your red and green status lights. By using this product, you acknowledge our terms of service. Absolutely we do. We're going to confirm that the bag number matches. So again, we're going to check this number, 125-37608-4406. And we want to make sure that bag number also matches this. It's the exact same number. So we're happy with our bag number, and we're going to click enter. Now we're going to choose a pin code. And remember, when we set this pin code, There is no way to forget a lost PIN code. If you set it and forget it, you have created a nice piece of recycling. It's going to tell you, it's going to give you the same thing. There's absolutely no way to recover this PIN code. There's absolutely no way to recover this PIN code. You can change the PIN. You can change these things, but you can't reset. And so we're going to enter the first part of the PIN. And we're going to hit enter. And we're going to write that down here. Again, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. And our anti-phishing codes are shell and write. And this is super handy in case somebody swaps out our Coldcard Q with a fake device that transmits our PIN. They would have to know the prefix of the PIN and the words that are derived from the prefix so they would match. So then I wouldn't enter the second half of my PIN if the words didn't match. And so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to choose that. And again, you'll want to use a complex prefix and a complex suffix. Nice. And you click OK. We're going to do it one more time to confirm that there's no typos. Lots of buttons on this keyboard here. Shell write. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's saving that information. I'm just going to write down the back half of the PIN here. Okay. Now we're in the home screen here. We're at the beginning. So we're going to set a new set of seed words. We're going to do 12 words. And it's going to generate our first 12-word seed phrase here. And here are the 12 words. I'm just going to take a moment to write these down. Just going to do 1 second. And you might be asking, do I want to do 12 words or 24 words? 24 words is recommended in the long term. 12 words is just fine for now. And for our setup purposes, we're just doing 12 words because we want to move quickly here. And so generally I say, if you have the time and it's money that matters to you, do the 24 words. Why not? But for the purpose of this demonstration, just to keep things moving here, we are going to do a 12-word seed. Okay. And it says, please double check and make sure everything's correct. If you want, you can add some dice rolls and do some more interesting things. We're not going to do dice rolls today. Now we're going to do our little test and make sure that we wrote down correctly, even if we think we did. The mind sometimes plays tricks on us. This is your one chance to double check. And so word number 7 is frown. Word number 5 is going to be wide. Word number 2 is juice. Word number 9 is thing. Word number 10 is endless. Word number 11 is warrior. Word number 4 is scrab. Word number 8 is recycle. Word number 6 is arch. Word number 3 is assault. Word number 12 is busy. Word number 1 is romance. Okay, so we passed the test. Excellent. So now we know we've written this down properly. We just want to protect that from the wind. Your cold card has been configured for the best security practices. USB has been disabled, NFC has been disabled, and USB data has been disabled. So that's excellent news. Now we're ready to sign. Okay, so now the device is ready to go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our nunchuck, and we're going to add another key. We're going to add let's add an air-gapped key this time. Instead of using NFC, unlock the device, continue. We're going to call this our Q, and we're going to scan the QR. We're going to go allow, and so now we're going to go into advanced, and we're going to go export wallet. We're going to go into nunchuck. Oh, press QR to show the QR code. Nice. Perfect. Good. So there's the QR code. And so now what we're going to do is go like this. Nunchuck is reading them one by one. Boom. Excellent news. Now again, it's going to say, okay, you've got your QR code, or you've got your XPub, but what derivation path are you going to use? How do you want to calculate your Bitcoin addresses? And again, we're going to, it's saying recommended for multi-sig. Let's do the recommended for multi-sig.
Okay, let's do it.
And we'll hit add key. The queue has been added. Okay.
Okay.
And so the Q, it also tells you that you did an air gap. So in the future, you also continue to do air gap. You don't mix them up, right? It's like, no, we did air gap. So now we have 2 keys, okay? Sure. We have 2 keys now. Now let's go into our home and let's create a new wallet. So the first thing we do is we have our 2 keys, our 2 encrypted signing devices, but we haven't actually created a Bitcoin wallet yet where we can have a Bitcoin transactions go to. So before we, once you create your key, you also have immediate access to your Bitcoin address. But because this is going to be multi-sig, the Bitcoin addresses are going to be derived from multiple signatures, multiple places. So although I could go in here right now and I could say, show me the address that derives from this key, that's only the address that's derived from this single sig. We want to use this as part of a multi-sig. So we need to create a wallet that factors in both keys. All right, so neither of these wallets can tell us the addresses, only the nunchuck can. So we're going to go create new wallet. And we're going to hit create new wallet. And we're going to create a new wallet. And we're going to call this our Elzante wallet. We're going to hit continue. And we're going to say we want to use both keys to create this wallet, okay? Now, we have 2 total keys, but how many keys do we need to sign a transaction? Do we want a 1 of 2, or do we want a 2 of 2? So that means we need both keys present to make a transaction. Yep. So we're going to hit continue.
You need to tap to sign with 1, and then you need to authorize the
on both.
Okay, yep.
On both. So let's review. We have a wallet called Elzante. It's going to be a 2 of 2 multi-sig. It's going to be a standard wallet. The address type is going to be native SegWit. We've got the Q air gap, and we've got the tap signer via NFC. Okay?
Yep.
And now we're going to hit create wallet. Now, all of this, the XPub from one wallet, the XPub from the other wallet, the fact that there's 2 keys, the fact that we require 2 keys, the 2 different derivation paths, all of those configuration settings multiplied all together, there's a bit of data here. And we actually need all of that data to be able to, let's say we lose this phone. We need that mapping of how they're all connected together for the future. So the BSMS file, you need to back that up and keep it readily available. It's like your XPub. It's sort of public. It's not private. There's no secrets on there. But you need the 2 keys plus this file to actually, because it's the configuration file.
Yep.
Now, in the future, you could just reconfigure it exactly how we did it, and it'd probably be fine. But as standards change, derivation paths change, this may no longer be the default in a year or 2, right? And if it's not the default, you can be playing around with potentially thousands of different combinations of how the multi-sig is set up. And so it's really important that you save this file, okay? So let's save the file. We'll save it onto your iCloud. If you have a hardware wallet, you might be required to register the wallet. Let's take a look here. So I'm going to hit scan on my device.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so now that configuration file is here, and we need to let the queue know about that configuration file. So it's showing me a barcode. I'm going to go in my queue. I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to multi-sig wallets, and I'm going to say import from QR. Okay, because we want to. Now that all this information has been finalized here, we just want to finalize it here so it can properly sign and the queue can know about the other wallets, okay? So we hit import QR. So this is showing us our whole, all our wallet information here. We can see the queue, the tap signer, and we can hit done. So now we have this 2 of 2 multi-sig wallet. And the first thing we need to do is send some Bitcoin into it. So let me send $25 into it again. So now we have $25 inside our multi-sig wallet. So now the real fun is when you try to send Bitcoin out. Okay, so now we have one confirmation and we can send some Bitcoin out. And so we're going to hit send. We'll hit copy. Then we'll go back to our wallet here, and we are going to send. We're going to send $15 US, and we are going to send it to this address. I'm going to double check it right now. It's and now the transaction it's a pending signature transaction. Okay, And you can see that this is what we're going to send. We're sending this much Bitcoin to this Bitcoin address, okay? And we have we're pending 2 signatures. We need 2 signatures to get this done, okay? So let's do the easy one first, the tap signer, right? It's so easy. So we're going to hit tap. We're going to hit sign. First thing we need to do is enter the PIN on our tap signer. Now, we were naughty boys, and we just made the PIN the same as the starting PIN. There we go. And then we're literally just going to tap. They're going to talk to each other. And it's done. So now we've done one of our signatures. One of our 2 signatures has been completed, just like that. Simple. So easy. And so the tap signer is great. So now we're going to take our tap signer, and we're going to get it back into this NFC protector, so no unauthorized taps happen. You always want to keep it back.
For anybody to infiltrate the card.
It's like a Faraday cage. It keeps it protects signals from coming out. The term is wireless pickpocketing, and it's the idea I could walk by you and tap, and that's not possible really with credit cards, because my credit card terminal will get canceled. It's a closed system, right? But with Bitcoin, anybody can accept Bitcoin payments. And so with any Bitcoin-related NFC tap things, you need to have them in there, because anybody can receive payments. There's no way to, as much as I can't make you use Bitcoin, I can't stop you from using Bitcoin. That's an important part about Bitcoin. Anybody can use it. No one's excluded. Okay, so now let's do the queue. So we'll hit sign, and we'll hit export transaction, and we will export via BBQR, and we'll go on our queue here. We'll come up to ready to sign. Coldcard is ready to sign transactions. We'll hit QR code, and we'll read this. Got all the parts, validating the transaction. Now remember, we're already logged into our queue here, okay? So we don't need to enter our PIN or anything like that. Normally you would do that when you turn it on, but we're already in. So we're going to take a look here. It's also, because this is the first time we're doing it, we're going to create a new multi-sig wallet on this phone. Okay, or on this phone. Looks like a phone.
Yeah.
On this
BlackBerry.
This BlackBerry. I wasn't going to use the BlackBerry word, but yes. So we're going to create a new multi-sig wallet. It's a PSBT 2 of 2. It's 2 of 2 policy. And we're going to approve this wallet. We're going to hit enter. Now all the information is also saved on here. And now we're going to do an OK to send, okay? And so on this device, remember, this is the big benefit of using a queue versus a tap signer. We can actually review what we're signing before we just tap to sign. So on this device, I can see that we're sending this much Bitcoin to this address. You can see I'm sending 0.16425 Bitcoin to this Bitcoin address that ends in D3L73. And the change back is going to come back, and that all looks good to me. So I'm going to hit enter to approve. Now my device is going to sign the transaction. And it's going to create that finished barcode. Here it is. So there's the finished barcode. So now I'm going to hit import signature on my nunchuck. And I'm going to show, and you can see it's loading. Boom. And so now inside our nunchuck, we have this transaction getting sent to that address. It's been signed by the queue using air-gapped QR codes. It's been signed by the tap signer using NFC. The transaction's finished, actually, but there's one last step in Bitcoin, which is called broadcast the transaction. Most wallets do broadcasting as part of the transaction, but this just gives you one last chance. Are you sure you want to do it? Now what we're going to do is we're going to send it out to every node in the whole world right now. And there it goes. Now it's been sent out to every single node in the whole world. And if we take a look here in just a moment, and now you can see that transaction's been broadcast out to the whole world. Everybody can now see it. It's an unconfirmed transaction. I'm on the public blockchain here. There's our address. It is public that it's a multi-sig 2 of 2. That part is public. And because this address is protected by multi-sig. And so that information is visible to the general public. But you can see we're sending this much Bitcoin to one place and this much Bitcoin back. And so that's it. Now we just wait for the Bitcoin to get confirmed. And that's it. So what was your question?
You use the word air gap.
Yeah.
And this is a wallet that's actually on this device. This nunchuck wallet is stored on this device.
Yeah.
But my keys that secure this wallet are stored separately on this and this tap signer.
Yeah.
So my question is, how does this device know that those keys are valid without the keys being on this device? Like you touch it, and it's accepting that key, but how does it know what your key is supposed to be?
Public-private key cryptography. Okay. And so the way public-private key cryptography works is you have a public address. Think of it like a Bitcoin address. You have a public address, a public number that is derived from a private portion. And so every Bitcoin address actually has, it's called a key pair, and it has the public portion and the private portion. And the set of public and privates are all derived from the 12-word seed. Okay, there's this big ancestry tree, okay? The way public-private key cryptography works, and it's beautiful, is from the private key, the private portion, the public-private, from the private portion, which is longer, I can derive the public portion. I can always go this way to the public portion, which is shorter, but I can't go backwards. And so I can prove to somebody that I have the longer portion by taking the private part, signing a message, and then they can look at the public part in the message and say, you must have the private part that matches this, because I can verify that your signature matches this and matches the part I don't know. And so there's this sort of web of knowing and not knowing, and that's public-private key cryptography. And so the public portions are on your internet connected device, and the private portions are on your secure devices. And so this device, it has the public portion, and then this creates that signature that comes from, it's derived from the private portion. This device gets the signature, goes, holy crap, you signed a message that matches the public Bitcoin address, and you must have done that using the private key without actually sharing the private key, okay? And so there's some great diagrams online that sort of show the relationship of how there's the private portion, the public portion, and the signed message, and how the private portion creates the signed message, clearly part of the public, and if you look at the public portion of the signed message, you can tell that it was created from the private key for that public, but without actually seeing the private key. Okay, and that concept is called public-private key cryptography. But that's how it works. And so this device, it doesn't know the private key, but it knows the public portion, and now it has the signed messages from the work of the private key. But it never knows the private portion. The private portion stays on this device or the tap signer. And that's the beauty of these cold wallets, is that it creates as much distance as possible between the internet and all the danger of the internet, and something you need to keep incredibly safe. And let me know, the Bitcoin Hardware Store, we're open 6 days a week, 9 to 5. We're here to answer your questions. And this is what we do here, is we explain this stuff, and we'll take you through it. And if you start to get lost or it starts to get too complicated, we'll say, all right, I've got a simpler device for you. We find the right devices for the right clients. First location here in Bitcoin Beach, El Salvador.